First of all, thanks a lot for having this conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for the putting this together.
We really noticed that the article and just the news about Herman Miller like going into the gaming space was actually very popular, and it quite surprised me to see that like gamers, which are like a very young target audience, that they are so that they are already thinking about ergonomics, and it's just it was nice to see and quite surprising.
Yeah, the response so far has been really great, and I would say it is somewhat surprising, but also we were kind of thinking that this was good. I mean, this is why we were entering into the market is because we've been hearing from customers for so long that there was this need and desire for someone to enter into the space that truly understood ergonomics.
Yeah, because like the gaming chairs that we have like right now all look pretty good and very futuristic and that, but like in ergonomics, they're not really the best of the best.
No, they're not. And I think yeah, you're exactly right. They really focus on one thing, and that's aesthetics and kind of creating this perception of performance, but then really kind of not actually carrying through or following through on that performance when it comes to supporting your body properly and keeping you comfortable for a really long time.
So was this like the main motivator for Herman Miller to like go into the gaming space, just like seeing that gaming chairs are like so popular, but that they're not really good?
A little bit. I think more of it was just hearing from customers. I think, yes, Herman Miller is entering into the gaming space right now, but gamers have chosen Herman Miller for quite some time now. And it's really us responding to the feedback that we've been receiving from customers is hey, like in really us watching them. I mean, we spent quite a bit of time researching, talking with customers, and really understanding what their needs were. And I mean, the one thing that came out of it was, hey, like we're already choosing you. We would love for you to come into this space and continue to push this industry forward, even further than where it is today.
So is this like the very beginning of the gaming journey for Herman Miller, or has a company dabbled into gaming before?
There was one. I would say this is the very beginning of where we're at, and this is the first step with our partnership with Logitech as well. And when you think about how Herman Miller develops products and really thinks about pretty much any challenge that we're faced with, we always use outside resources in order to help us take on new things. If you go all the way back to even into the 1940s with Ray and Charles Eames and how we really focus on bringing new designs to the market, it was always through outside designers. So entering into the gaming space is very much in kind with the way that we would approach a lot of things. So using a partner to enter into that space and really propel this idea and topic forward is in line with our history. And then we're looking to really kind of accelerate that and bring even more products to this market in the near and long term.
You're mentioning the long term, so are you like talking about expansions then for the product line?
Yep. Yeah. So I think what you'll see coming out of Herman Miller is two areas. One, we'll continue to do extensions with our products today. It's the one thing that we heard from consumers is we love what you're already offering, but hey, can you bring it to us in a color palette that's more relevant to our gaming space, and also better or help us better position our bodies so that we can get into that more upright, more active gaming posture. But very much what we're looking at is what is because we have there's another big set part of our company which is really focused on innovation. So we're looking at studying gamers and really thinking about what is that next generation gaming furniture that we could bring to this market that would be truly revolutionary.
So, but the focus will always be like just the furniture and not like teaming up with Logitech to create an ergonomic keyboard or something like that.
Um, I think Logitech already has a lot of really great ergonomic products when it comes to peripherals. It'll be really interesting as we continue to work together to see what kind of new IP is created from that. I mean, this is the really great thing about bringing really smart people together is that yes, we are experts in furniture, they're experts in gaming peripherals, but usually what happens, what I've seen happen is when you bring those people together, some really new and cool creative ideas can come out of it. So I won't say no to anything like that because it's, the sky's the limit at the moment. But we would be focused at the moment on more bringing next generation gaming furniture to the market right now.
So like in the product line that you announced, there are like 3 items. So of course the chair, which we'll like get into very soon, but then also the desk and the monitor arm effect. Are the desk and the arm like just existing Herman Miller products, or have they been tweaked anyway?
The monitor arm is an existing Herman Miller product today. It's the Ollin monitor arm that I think launched a couple of years ago. It is probably one of the highest performing monitor arms you can find out there, and just the way that it moves and the way that it functions. It's just extremely easy to use, and you can really change the position of your monitor very quickly. Which is, I think, it will be great for most people, especially in today's COVID world, where a lot of spaces we're finding are people are both working from home, so their space that they usually were gaming at is now a workspace as well. So being able to shift your monitor in between those activities will be great. And then for the desk, it's based on the Moshe and Nevi in ratio, depending on what region you're in, platform. So that's the adjustable legs portion of it. But the surface that we used was a very purposeful surface. So the laminate finish that you'll find on the gaming version of these desks is actually this really, really nice soft touch matte black laminate finish that has a really low reflective value. And that's the reason why we chose it for the gaming version, is because for streamers, having light shining down on you, you're not going to want a surface in front of you that's reflective, because that light will bounce off that surface and hit you in the eyes. So having this surface have a very low reflective value, we think will be extremely beneficial for that audience.
It's good thinking. Is there also like some form of like cable management, because games have a lot of cables?
Yeah, it's actually one of the really great offerings with the table is that for the Moshe table specifically, the Moshe gaming table, it has this cable trough that actually hinges down, and it's a super deep trough. And you can put tons of cords in there and really manage everything you possibly would need within that one trough. You can even run has outlets you can run up into it as well, so you can plug everything in up there and really create that really premium, clean aesthetic within your gaming space.
So then, like I said before, like the chair is like a modified version of an existing chair, like the Embody Chair. And if I understood correctly, then you have you did some studies, and then based on that studies, you applied some modifications to the chair. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So we worked with TSM, San Francisco Shock, teams like that very early on. And what we did is we spent a lot of time sitting with them, and actually we were at their team houses just observing the way that they played, and also talking with them and asking about what their needs are, and what specific requirements that they had for their chair and their furniture. And as we were going through that research, the one thing that we found that was most obvious is that player usually wants to sit in this more upright, more active posture, that we realized a lot of gaming chairs were not providing. And when we looked back across our portfolio, we knew that we were going to need to modify some of our products in order to get to that position. The other thing that we noticed as we were sitting and watching and talking with them is that they were looking for a chair that would be highly adjustable. So something that would actually be able to fit every single player's unique anatomy. And when we looked back into our portfolio of products that we had, the Embody Chair is actually one of the most customizable and adjustable chairs you can possibly that you can get out in the market today. Has all of the standard adjustments, but then the one adjustment that it has that no other chair has is something called back fit, which actually allows for you to adjust the back of the chair unique to your spinal curvature, which was something that we noticed that because everyone's spinal curvature is completely different. If the back of the chair is if it's not adjustable, the result of that is then your head is out of alignment. And we saw this time and time again with players is that they were always pushing their head forward in order to get their eyes to the right position to look at the screen. And when they did that, they took their spine out of alignment, and put their body in what we call a weak anatomical loop. And when they did that, that's what was causing neck pain, lower back pain, and causing significant injury for them. So the Embody Chair actually allows for you to adjust that, the back of it, to get your head in that proper alignment based on your unique spinal curvature.
Okay. So like the modifications that are like on this chair, but not on the default Embody Chair. Like, what are these modifications exactly?
Yep. So we used some cooling foam that actually is placed in strategic positions in the seat in the back of the Embody Chair. And what this now does is it brings the back slightly forward and it elevates the back of the seat slightly. And this allows for you, when you adjust the chair properly, to get into that more upright, active gaming posture. In addition to that, the cooling part of it, the copper infused part of that foam, will actually grab the heat and pull that away from your body, keeping you thermal neutral as you're playing in the chair. And it also has come with this really, we worked with, a couple teams to figure out kind of aesthetically where we would want this chair to land, to really fit into their space well. And we also brought, some really nice, different aesthetics and color options for players with Logitech G.
So like all these modifications were like based on the studies you did and maybe like user feedback, things like that.
Correct. Yep. So we were able to go out and test through that observational research, get additional feedback from players and influencers, and hear from them of exactly what they wanted. As we were developing, they kept just saying how great this was throughout the whole process. Loving all the ability to adjust the chair, loving the new features of the cooling foam and the position that they put their body in, and really just enjoying the new colors.
Has been any mention of a headrest? Because I know that a lot of gamers like to lean back onto a headrest.
Yeah, a headrest is really interesting. When we have this conception that we need a headrest, probably because our car has a headrest, right? That's probably where some people are getting this from. But when you think about active playing, and the posture that you put yourself in, you can actually control and put your head in the right position by properly adjusting your chair and actually having a chair that properly supports your body. So when you have the chair properly adjusted, the Embody Gaming Chair, your head will actually be properly supported, and you will, you will not have that feeling or that need in order to rest your head on something, because your body will be all properly aligned. You're in a power posture, or your posture is in a position of strength, and your head will be in the right position. So you'll be feeling extremely comfortable once the chair is adjusted properly for you.
So like if you like have no experience with ergonomics and you get this chair because you just feel like you're suffering a bit from back pain or something like that, like how do you know that you are using the chair correctly?
That is, I think, a great question. You will know when you are using the chair correctly, when the chair simply disappears while you're using it. That's when you know a chair is working really well for you, is when you stop feeling it, because it's almost becomes one-to-one with you, and it's mapping to your unique anatomy, and it fits you perfectly. On our website, on the hermanmiller.com/gaming, you'll find a lot of great adjustment videos to show you how to quickly adjust the chair, and be able to get yourself into the right position. Like any product that is highly adjustable like this, you probably want to give yourself a day or two just kind of playing with it and tweaking it. And once you get to that point of like, yep, this feels extremely comfortable, I'm not feeling the chair again, then you're going to be in the right position.
So like you teamed up with Logitech. Can you tell me something more about what exactly the role is of Logitech in this partnership?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I'd mentioned in the beginning, if you look at our history of how Herman Miller approaches design challenges, which I would say this is very much like that. We always go to seek outside resources to bring new and different thoughts into our organization. It's very much, that's who we are. That's in our nature. That's our part of our DNA at Herman Miller. So the Logitech partnership is really important to Herman Miller because, Herman Miller is an expert in ergonomics and for people who sit. And Logitech G is an expert in gaming performance and gaming peripherals. And they have a really strong understanding of who this customer is and how to really meet and serve their needs. So partnering up with Logitech, especially in this very first step forward together with the Herman Miller Logitech Embody Gaming Chair, it was really about bringing together the expertise of both worlds and really to start to think about what can that immediate solution be for the gaming market. And then now what we're working on is really putting together next level and next generation gaming furniture, starting with continuing to do more research, continuing to understand players and both from a hobby, passionate player to the streamer to the competitive esports player, figuring out exactly where we can continue to push on the peripherals of gaming furniture and really continue to advance the industry forward from a performance standpoint, a health standpoint, and then a design standpoint as well.
So like, does teaming up with Logitech change anything about like the distribution of the product? Because like you can get Logitech gear like in every shop, but Herman Miller not really.
Yeah, no, that is definitely in the works for the future. Right now, I mean, we have two really great global companies, so it has helped um, Herman Miller quite a bit in distribution and being able to get product um, into places in Europe and China, Japan, South Korea, and being able to partner with all their local teams within those regions to continue to um, spread the word and the product as well.
Okay, so does this mean that we will be able to buy the chair at like more local retailers as well, like everywhere where Logitech gear is available?
Pretty soon, Logitech, I mean, their distribution is absolutely incredible right now, and Herman Miller is ramping that up at the moment, leveraging what we can with Logitech, but then also we're very quickly building our own infrastructure all across Europe at the moment. So yeah, we're little limited in Europe at the moment, but we will very quickly be ramping that up and being able to broaden our distribution across Europe.
Because actually, I also got some questions of readers, and like the distribution of the product was like one of the main points that came up. Because like I think the gaming furniture is like the only furniture of Herman Miller that can be bought directly from Herman Miller to the website, I think.
Correct. Yep. That's where we're starting right now. We will be looking for, as we continue to grow and we continue to expand into new markets or new countries and new regions. We will be looking for both, that direct to consumer channel, which will be through our store, but then also expanding into other retailers as well. So all of that work is very it's ongoing, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes right now that are pushing that as fast as we possibly can.
So to continue with like the reader questions, and there's also a question like the Embody Chair is a part of the mid or even the high range of Herman Miller, but are you also looking to gamify cheaper models like the Aeron?
Yeah, that is absolutely in the works when we think about being able to provide a broad price and performance spectrum of furniture to this audience. So I think I know we have some really exciting things coming here in the next few months. So be on the lookout for that. There are so many great opportunities, and we've been gathering even more feedback from consumers that will continue to help us do more extensions of products that are specific to gamers' needs, and then also in the future, looking at even more brand new things that we can bring to this market.
So also some guys who are like not really sure about if they should buy the regular Embody chair or like the Embody Gaming Chair. So why would a gamer buy the Embody Gaming Chair instead of the regular one?
I think they'll notice very quickly that there is a significant difference in postural uh, results, I guess, when you sit in the chair. So the ability to get up in that upright position is done very easily in the Embody Gaming Chair. So if you're a player who sits more upright, and you kind of find yourself leaning forward a little bit, the Embody Gaming Chair is going to be just a really great solution for you. It also we've done some really interesting and cool things with fabric on this chair, and I think they're going to be really impressed with the the look of it. It's super uh, premium, and the aesthetically it's a really strong aesthetic. I think will fit really well within their gaming space. The Embody chair, I mean, the original one, it's been a chair that's been chosen by players for quite some time now. So definitely won't discount that version of it. You can get it that one in a couple more different color options. If you're looking for more of a white frame, you would go over there and get that just on the original Embody, but you will be missing that foam that's placed in the chair to get you in that more upright posture.
There was also a bit of confusion about like the pricing because it's like in Europe actually the gaming chair is a bit cheaper than the regular Embody chair, but like in the US it's like the gaming chair is more expensive. Do you have any insights about that?
Yeah, it is. It is priced at so if you look at regular Embody, there's an entry price for a regular Embody, and it is in America or in North America, it's priced right at that entry level price point. But you're getting a ton of additional value and different features out of the gaming version. So you're actually getting way more value compared to the price. And we did that really focus, 100% on, making sure that we could give as much as we possibly could to the gaming community at the best possible price for this the Embody Gaming Chair. And in Europe, there's some different nuances there, but that's more related directly to like how manufacturing happens and all of that.
So actually my last question is like not really specific to a product of Herman Miller, but like more in a gaming ergonomics in general. Like for gamers who don't have a real like expensive ergonomic gaming chair, do you have any other tips like to just improve ergonomics with what they already have, just by changing their posture or something?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when you're sitting in a chair, I think some of the most important things you can think about is getting the chair properly adjusted to you. So the very first thing that everyone should, I think, be thinking about is the seat, the height of the seat. So I see this time and time again with players is that their chair is too high. You'll notice this right away is because their feet are not flat on the floor. And when your feet are not flat on the floor, then what you're losing is your anchor point to the ground, and that anchor point is really important because it gives you a leverage point to be able to then create and generate power off of. So that would be the very first thing that I would tell people is to make sure. And 9 times out of 10, I'm actually lowering the seat down for people. So make sure that you have this really nice 90-degree angle between your quads and your calf. So if you're looking at kind of a side shot of your body, your legs should be at a 90-degree angle. If you get to that point, then your feet should be flat on the floor. And that's going to be super important for someone that doesn't have a chair that may not be fully adjustable or have a ton of ergonomics in it. The other thing I would say is beyond that, I think if the back isn't adjustable and if all you have is lumbar, I'd be careful with just pushing on your lumbar region. That can be actually somewhat problematic to a user. A lot of people if you look at your spine, your lumbar is actually the part that kind of concaves in. And because it curves in, people think that shoving a pillow there is what your spine needs. That's actually not true. Usually when you push on that part of your spine, I mean, Newton taught us, right? If you apply a force, you're going to get an equal and opposite force. in the other direction. So typically when you push on your lumbar region like that, what's going to happen is your pelvis will actually start to rotate backwards. And when your pelvis rotates backwards, that's when your spine is going to go into that really unhealthy C-shaped curve. So I would actually recommend for most people, if all you have is something pushing in your lumbar, either try to lower that support as low as you possibly can get it, or remove it completely, because it could be potentially doing more harm than good for users. And then the last two things I would mention is think about your total setup. So going back to that first thing about your seat height being too high, usually the reason why someone's seat height is too high is because their desk is too high, and they're simply just raising their seat up so they can get their arms to a comfortable position. If you do have the capability, if it's not a height adjustable desk, but you are able to modify your desk at all, really focus in on getting your seat height to the right height, like we just talked about, but then also bringing your desk down a little bit as well, so your arms can be comfortable. And then the last thing is with your screen. If your screen is not at the right height, it's going to force your head to move. Your eyes are going to move to where your eyes need to look, which is going to move your head, which could put your spine out of alignment. So making sure most people actually need to lift their screen up quite a bit and actually then tilt it just slightly forward. And really what you want to do is to have your body in that proper alignment, and your eyes should be looking right at the middle of the screen, maybe slightly lower, without having to move your head around at all.
So if I like look at the keyboard and the mouse, I think a bad habit that I have is that I always try to get my mouse like as far back on the table as possible, like my whole arm is almost on the table. Should keyboard and mouse be like at the front of your desk or a bit more at the back? Or
I mean that's going to be so dependent. You sound like an FPS player. So
yeah.
I play Counter-Strike as well. So that's how I sit. And what that does for me is it kind of gets my wrist off the corner of the table, which for first person shooters, usually that's where if your hand is resting on the table and you're moving quite a bit, you can apply a lot of pressure to your wrist, which is going to you'll end up getting carpal tunnel from doing that. So I actually think that's perfectly fine. The desk we're offering is actually a 30-inch. I don't know what that is now in millimeters, but it's a fairly deep desk. So what you can do is you can move your monitor back quite a bit if you have an adjustable monitor arm, and then sit really far into the desk. The great thing about the Embody Gaming Chair is that the arms actually drop down quite a bit, so you can slide yourself all the way in, and then you can rest your arm on the table. I think that's a great position to play in. If you're playing a MOBA, you'll probably sit back a little bit different because you're not doing big arm, movements. You have the ability not to have to scooch in, you probably won't need to scooch in all the way in order to support your forearm.
Okay, it's good to hear. In fact, that were like all the questions that I had prepared. Do you have any additions to make?
Yeah, I think there's some things that I think are really interesting to talk about when we think about gaming, and we think about we've talked quite a bit about it at a competitive level. When we think about positioning your body properly and ergonomics and that type of stuff, but it also applies, like I think what we're talking about, to just the people who just love playing and play at home with their friends, and that type of stuff. So we're excited about this partnership and this first step of this product, because it's going to, like, our vision of where this is going. It's all about bringing more innovation and more technologically advanced products to this market to continue to help people perform better. Right. So if you think back to like the NBA and or basketball, where a lot of players were running around in just like flat rubber shoes, really early on, and you were seeing so much injury from NBA players, and they weren't lasting very long in the league because of that. And then the sport continued to progress and more innovation and technology came to shoes, now what you're seeing is players are able to continue to play in the league even longer and longer and longer, and they're performing at even a higher level than what they were before. And this is what we get really excited about with gaming, is just bringing technology and innovation to this market so that so that people can continue to do the thing that they love the most.
So you're kind of like the Nike of the furniture.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I love that analogy, and I think a lot of people want to be the Nike of fill in the blank, because Nike is just so successful at what they do. And in a way, that's when you think about a player and what is most important to their body from a performance standpoint, it is their chair, right? It is the one thing that their body is intimately connected with throughout the entire match, or into and their play, right? That is actually, you're right, the sneaker of basketball, or the golf clubs of golf, right? Or like, you name whatever those tools are in another sport, the chair really is that thing for players and or for gamers. So absolutely, I would say that's a good analogy.
Okay, awesome. Effects for me, that would be everything. Okay. Thanks a lot for the interview. Thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for putting this together. That was a great conversation.
Thank you. It was really fun. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you too. Talk to you later.